Good afternoon. My name is Vincent Palmieri. I'm the president of Asian Pacific Community Awareness, and I'm here with Hunter Cain at Sunny Side Up. Hunter is running for Assembly District 4. Hunter, please introduce yourself.
Hi, thank you very much, Vinny. My name is Hunter Cain. I am running for Nevada Assembly District 4. Currently, I work for Grand Canyon University as their University Development Counselor for the Military Division. My entire job is literally to help veterans go back to school, which is great. I'm also a full-time foster parent, so I always say I part-time work and full-time parent to go through. And then hopefully throughout the month you'll get to know a heck of a whole lot more about me coming up.
Thank you, and let me thank you for your service.
Oh, thank you.
Hunter, can you explain to our audience what does an assembly do? What are the responsibilities of an assemblyman or assembly person?
Absolutely. So when you think of the both state senate and state assembly, think of it more like our federal senate and our federal representatives. So the assembly is part of the lower house where there's 44 members throughout the state of Nevada who will help pass bills. So much like we're having a current day, we're having some issues with our Speaker of the House. We also have a Speaker of the Assembly who also does the exact same thing that the Speaker of the House does on the federal side. So on the Assembly, we pass bills that we hope to get approved through the Senate and then signed by the governor into law.
Does the Assembly have the authority to overlook CCSD?
So yes and no. So CCSD, a lot of it is put into the hands of the state assembly and the state senate, both the education caucuses. So where there's a lot of authority is that we literally control the budgets. So if we're telling schools how much they can or cannot spend or how much they can or cannot make, when it also comes time for it, there have been some talk as of late to possibly splitting up Clark County School District. That wouldn't happen on the county level, that will happen on the state level when it comes time for installing more schools that are specific to, let's say special needs students. Mm-hmm. That's going to come more on the county level and with the superintendent versus the state. So every side has its own responsibility.
Okay, so two questions. Are you in favor of splitting up Clark County School District? And does the Assembly have the authority to monitor the funds that are appropriated to CCSD?
So I'm open to any idea always. I don't think anyone's told me a compelling reason to split up the school districts. It's not going to help with the funding issue. So one of the things is we have a little bit over a dozen districts here in Nevada, and the way that our current law is written is that we divide up evenly to each of the counties for their school districts. Mm-hmm. So that means that Elk is getting the same thing as Clark County, is getting the same thing, as all these different ones. So unfortunately, do I think Lyon County needs the same amount of money as Clark does? No. So I think until we divide up the county, which I don't think is ever going to happen, we probably need to have a better solution than just divide up and CCSD.
Why have you decided to run for Assembly?
Yeah, so there's a number of reasons. I mentioned a little bit earlier that one of my big passions is I am a foster parent. So I think that quite often we're the underlooked people. So too often foster parents, we don't have the funding necessary to be able to help the children we want. We don't have the supportive services necessary. I think having that voice telling the state party or, telling the state government saying, hey, we need help. We need to have that voice there. On top of that, I will, when elected, I will be only one of a half dozen veterans representing us at all. So on the Senate side, the only veteran we have on the Senate is Pat Spearman. Mm-hmm. But she's term limited, so she won't be there anymore. So we'll have nobody in the Senate side speaking for veterans. And then on the Assembly side, we only have 3 other veterans that are there right now. So hopefully, not only do I get reelected, and we reelect or elect quite a few other veterans going through.
So can you explain to our viewers, what is your platform going to be as an assemblyman?
Oh, it's very simple. You will hear me say it over and over and over again. I care about my veterans. I care about my community. I care about my foster kids. So when people want to come up to me and say, well, hey, what are your views on this global issue or this national issue, this and that? And I'm like, hey, thanks for trying to distract me, but my issues are my veterans, my fellow foster parents, and then my community. So I'm going to literally, we can try it right now if you want, but I'm just going to redirect you to these are my core issues. I think that too often we ignore them, and we ignore them because other sensationalized things come up. I'm not going to. You're going to hear me talk nothing but foster parents, nothing but veterans and community service.
And what about other issues that involved the state of Nevada?
I think I want to listen to other groups, that are very passionate about it. Wildlife conservation. We are facing a water shortage here. There's urban sprawl happening. There's a lot of different issues that are going on. I'm not an expert in those areas. I don't want to be an expert in every area. What I want to do is go to. We have the national. We have the state conservation league. If we're talking about conservation issues, if we're talking about urban sprawl, we should be talking to Red Rock and some of these other communities that are trying to, that have that voice in there. So I'm going to listen to other people and go that direction.
So let me ask you a question. As a veteran, you're a veteran, and we've known each other for a few years now. What is one of your top priorities to help the veteran community?
Absolutely. One of the first things that I would like to see is I would like to see veteran care being recommitted on every level of the government. So I always forget his name, but it popped in my brain. Governor Sandoval, one of the things I loved about him so much was he said that Nevada will be one of the most veteran-friendly states. And then the city of North Las Vegas said, yes, we're jumping on board, we're going to do that. The city of Henderson said, yes, we're jumping on board, we're doing that. Las Vegas is lagging behind a little bit, so we need them to jump on. Summerlin, all these different areas. So what I want to see is, first and foremost, every city committing to doing some kind of veterans work. And maybe that's just with hosting events, providing resources, stuff like that. And then on the county level, our current Clark County Commission has no veterans supports. So what I would love to see, and there's no surprise, there's no veterans serving on the Clark County Commission. But I would love to see them turn around and maybe they, help train some of our VSOs and other organizations to be able to be supportive of them. And then on the state, I would love to do more. I've worked with Fred Wagger for quite a few years, the new director of NDVS, and I want to see what can we do to help our veterans more. So every veteran is not homeless tonight. Every veteran has the opportunity to work if they wanted to, and every veteran knows about every resource available to them.
I happen to agree with you about that because I've been involved in Henderson. I see how much Henderson does for its veterans, and I look at Vegas, and there's almost nothing being done except for the Veterans Day Parade.
Yeah.
And I think you and I talked about at one meeting about veteran suicide.
Oh, yeah.
And I agree, and I know you agree, and if you could talk a minute about that, that we'd like veteran suicide to be out front every day.
Oh, absolutely. So on the campaign side, I want veteran suicide to be out there. I want it to be something that we're all talking about, not just during Suicide Awareness Month, not just during Veterans Month, but literally having it just be a part of our everyday conversation. It'd be great, but I'm doing more than actually just talking about it during the campaign. I'm working with the city of North Las Vegas right now to start hosting casual conversations where veterans who are depressed, veterans who are sad, veterans or whatever it may be, can literally just come down to the North Las Vegas Veterans Community Resource Center and be able to talk with other veterans. I mean, vets know vets best. Mm-hmm. One of the things that Christina Thomas from the Veterans Advocacy Council also mentioned was what we should start doing, especially starting with the community we already have and then expanding, is creating our own Battle Buddy down list. So I know that at least once a week, my job is to call Vincent. Hey, Battle, are you okay? Are you alive? Are you well? Do you need anything? How can I help you? And then Vincent has his 5 people, and then those people have those. And just like we did in the military, when the commander says, I want all the troops here, we do the same thing here in the Valley, so we can make sure to take care of her.
Yeah, I like that idea. In fact, our Purple Heart chapter 711, we have promoted that, and that's beginning next month.
So you guys are doing it within the
Purple Heart organization, yes.
Okay.
Everybody has to call when we know someone especially is not doing well or in the hospital. Everybody will be responsible for calling 5 or 6 people, and not only just calling, also if they're in the hospital, to go visit them.
Absolutely. I think it'd be a vital thing.
I think so too. I want to get off the veterans for a moment because I know what you have done in the foster care and how many foster children you have. I don't know if adoption is the right word, but fostered maybe. And if you can tell us a lot more about that, because I think that's also important. The foundation of our country, of our society, of our city, of our county is our children.
Absolutely. I think a lot of people talk about it. In fact, one of my favorite veteran shirt is, I never said that I can and you can't. It's that I did and you didn't.
Oh, I like that.
And it's one of my favorite shirts because everyone talks about, oh, well, what about the children? Save the children, help the children. And then it's like, well, what are you doing about that? We're like, oh, I'm reposting this. I'm like, then you're not doing anything to help the children. But for me, 35 youth have came through my home that I fostered. Of those that I fostered, 11 of them are my forever kids. I'm dad. Most of those have been adoptions, but sometimes people just age out and don't want to get adopted, which is also okay, but I'm dad forever for them to go through. So I specialize in taking in preteen and teenage boys, and all of my sons are what they call higher level of care. So it's not mommy and daddy had a fight and I'm not going back home. It's something traumatic happened to them, and now they need to have a trauma specialized parent to be there and support them.
Okay. So as an assemblyman, how would you improve our foster care system here in Las Vegas?
Oh, so many ways. First and foremost, because I have a soft spot for the teenage boys, I'm going to say teenagers in general, we don't do very much for those that have aged out. So across the country, there's 32,000 foster youth that age out every year. Half of them end up instantly homeless every year. Why? Because the government stops paying the foster parent as soon as they turn 18 and have graduated from high school. So now if I'm not making any more money from you, I might give you the weekend, but then you need to get your stuff and get out. Wow. So a lot of these kids who don't have driver's license, who don't have bank accounts, who's never filled out a resume or a job application, and all these different things end up instant homeless, which means that the jail cells are going to be filled, which means that they fall into the sex trade, the trafficking, which means that they're going to substance abuse, all these different type of things. So one of the first things that I would like to do is to have more supportive services for those that are aging out. I would also turn around and love to see that we start having maybe alternative educational courses starting their sophomore, junior year. So, you know, in Germany and other countries, and I've heard in the States back in the day, instead of me saying, no, college, why as a sophomore, junior, are we not training you to be an apprentice in a trade?
Right.
If you know that you're not about to spend the next 4 to 8 years in college, why are we playing dumb? Let's hook up with some of these great apprenticeship programs we have. You become a pipe fitter, you know, you become a painter, you become a construction worker, and you already have that 2 years of apprenticeship experience. So not only does it give them experience going under the belt, but on top of that, you can turn around and say, hey, you have to maintain good grades or you're not going to lose this apprenticeship. So they now have a goal as to why I'm going to school. Right. So there's a lot of other things that we can do. And then on the smaller side, there's things like, you know, hey, I can't always, if I have all these kids, I can't always drive them to every appointment. It'd be really great if they would pay for an Uber or two, or if they had a service that can help my older, you know, kids get to where they need to get to. Or if I didn't always have to pay out of pocket when it came time for me to buy them, you know, some basic skill stuff. You know, driver's training going through. Why am I paying for that? I don't know.
Well, I agree with you. Back in my day, we had vocational high schools. Aviation high school was one, and the one I went to was the New York School of Printing. And they also had a college program. You can learn the trade, and if you wanted to go on to college, they also prepared you to go on to college.
See, every school should be like that.
Yes.
Every school, especially. So, I'm going to say something very, very controversial, but it's coming from a good spot. If we know consistently Nevada schools are failing, we know this. I don't think we've been lower than 45th. We're top 5 worst states to be educated. We know this to be a fact. Then why are we scared to try something new? Why not make every high school in Nevada what you're talking about, where you go on 2 different tracks? Once you get to your junior year, you start your junior year doing apprenticeship going one way, or you do junior year the traditional way going to college.
Right.
Why not try something new to see if we can get more people graduating at higher levels and going into different fields?
Good. So I'm going to suggest when you become assemblyman that this is the first bill that you write.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, no, absolutely. We need to do more. And we can do more. I just think everyone's kind of distracted. I mean, even current day, what's going on, unfortunately in the Middle East, is another issue that everyone now has stopped talking about everything else. And this is the only thing we're talking about. Well, you need to have one person saying, cool, you guys talk about that. Let me know where you decide, and I'll go with the majority vote here, but I'm going to keep focusing on these issues over here. And I think it's okay for our elected officials to do that, to say, hey, I'm not going to be distracted.
Well, this is my own personal opinion. I like listening to candidates, I don't care what side of the aisle they're on, that just talk about the issues, things that they are going to do. I hate listening to them trashing their opponents or keep repeating the same talking points about, well, our school system is bad, this is bad, that is bad. I want to hear solutions.
Absolutely.
Solutions is what we need, not talk. So in closing, what would you like to tell our viewers?
What I would like to tell your viewers is, again, my name is Hunter Cain. I hope I have your support for Nevada Assembly District 4. If you think of that area as kind of Centennial Hills, Lone Mountain area in that region up there, you can always find out more information. I'm on all the social media platforms, which you can find by going to www.electhuntercain.com. You can also go on Facebook and look for Hunter Cain for Nevada. The same thing for Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. So yes, on TikTok I'll be doing some of those dances eventually. They're kind of cool. So you'll be able to see all of that.
And I would like to say that because APCA is a nonprofit organization, we do not support or endorse any particular party or candidate. What we do is we interview as many candidates who are willing to talk to us, because the smartest voter is a voter who is informed. No matter who you vote for, you need to be informed and know what these people are standing for and what they will do, and to make sure that we know that they know how to do their job. Hunter,
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very, very much.